Good morning. Well, we're coming down off the mountain just past Glen Lake, heading to the highway, heading to get the trailer at Whitefish Self-Storage, and boy, I'll tell you what, I feel good. Holy shit, oh dear, I feel good. I just feel so at ease, at peace with life, I'll tell you. It is absolutely frickin' nuts. And here, hard to believe, 48 hours ago I was ready to kill myself, literally. I do mean literally. And now it's just like, Jesus. I worked out one day for Biggie's. So it was kind of funny when I went to Biggie's. And I had the owner, yeah, it's kind of funny, and I guess I did talk a little bit about that, but here's a funny thing. So, and I love my business so much, and I love my customers so much. Well, yesterday was kind of crazy, but let me just tell you this little thing about working with Biggie's. So, here we are, I get in the truck with the guy, the owner, the woman's dad, the owner's dad. She's a woman, remember? So, here we are, he's got all this goddamn paperwork. Holy shit, he's got paperwork to fill out with every inch of the mile he takes. I mean, so we'll go to one little area and he's, okay, here we got 7.5 minutes. And then the next one we got 15 minutes. Then the next one we got 25 minutes. Then the next one we got 15 minutes. Everywhere we go, it's time allotted. So it's like, we gotta hurry. Holy shit, we gotta hurry. We only got 2 more minutes. Hurry up. Okay, so we hurry and we get it done. We go to the next one, and holy shit, slow down. Slow down. We got 10 extra minutes here. We gotta slow down. We gotta slow down. I mean, it is just fucking insane. And that isn't the way I run my fucking show. And that's why I am so goddamn happy. The Lord does work in mysterious ways. When I do my job, I do a very good job, but you know what? I have to tell you this, and you can say that I should go to prison right now if you feel it. But listen, I have a goal. My goal is to get my goddamn ass done with the day so I can get home. I'm not out there fucking around till 5 o'clock when I could have been done at 2. And that's what they do. So here it is 1 o'clock in the afternoon, and he's saying, well, we got 2 small ones. So let's see. Let's just go around and pick up some brush and do this and do that and do this and do that. Those 2 small ones would have taken a half an hour. We had like 3 hours on the 2 small ones, and that totally they would have taken like 40 minutes. So we're fucking around like crazy waiting for our little time slots to be done. So it's like, holy shit, oh dear, this is fucking not for me. And I do good. And my customers prove it. I mean, they love the holy shit out of me. But my goal, I'm not shitting you, is to get my goddamn ass on to the next job. Because typically when I get home, it's time to think about tomorrow and how to do tomorrow best. How to tackle tomorrow. And what all I need to do. When you're a sole proprietor, you got a lot of things to think about. So anyway, that was that. And so yesterday, here's a funny thing about yesterday too, that I haven't talked about. So I start out the day, I was gonna go do Casey, Montana and Kalispell, and then I was gonna go up and do Kathleen Cannons. So I head into town. And as I'm going by Ballooney's shop heading for my trailer, and literally when I was going by Ballooney's shop, here Angela Fisher's phone rings me. And I look on the caller ID and it's Angela Fisher. Well, Angela's kind of a funny one. She's come to find out, she's really cool, but she's a woman of few words, boy. It's like, for example, this season when she wanted to fire up, she just simply sent me a text that said Mo! Exclamation point. No how you doing, no anything, just Mo. And, you know, you'd want to be afraid of her, you know. You'd want to run from that woman. But come to find out, she's just really a nice woman, but just doesn't. And come to find out, she has a pizza place, which I didn't know. A takeout pizza place right next to Big Sky Manor that I used to do. I did not know that. Crazy. So anyway, the phone rings yesterday as I'm going by Ballooney Shop. It must have been about 10 o'clock, something like that. And I thought, oh, Angela's calling me. So I answered the phone, and I said, hi, Angela, how are you? And he says, this is Robert. And I said, I didn't even know that. And I talked to her husband, probably about my age, those guys. They're the same age. And I talked to him before, but I didn't know his name. So I just kind of put it together, you know, that it was a husband. And he says, how did you handle, and I almost went off on her. He says, how did you handle Angela? And I almost said, well, she's a goddamn bitch. She's a woman of few words, and I sometimes have a hard time with her, thinking she's not a very nice person. Yeah, I didn't say that. And a couple more sentences, and he said, well, she died. She died 2 days ago. She was on the toilet at home. He came home from work, and there she is, unconscious. So he said to me, he said, how did she pay you? And I said, well, she, and I told him. He said, well, why don't you come over? He said, I'll pay you for the full season now. So, you know, anytime I can get money right away, it not only puts money in my pocket, which I'm okay, I don't need the money, but it also seals the deal for that season with them. Sometimes you don't know, you know. I want to do that with Simpsons too. If you're good with your money, you got to watch it. You know, you can't go to fucking Disneyland just because you got prepaid. But anyway, so there was that, and it's like, holy shit. So I went right over there right away. I didn't want to wait another day. He's home on funeral leave. I'm going there tomorrow now. I'll be there at 11 o'clock. But it's like, I'm going to get that goddamn money and seal that son of a bitchin' deal. The way this world is nowadays, any fucking thing can happen. If somebody is willing to put $1,000 in your hand, you better go fucking get that money now. That guy could get shot. I mean, he could have a change of heart, which is more likely than even getting shot here in the United States. Although it's a close fucking running for first place on that deal. So anyway, I went over there and I talked to him and I comforted him. He is a good guy, and he's one guy that I would go hang with. I'd go take a mountain drive with or whatever, you know. I feel sorry for him. Nights have got to be real tough on him with her not there. Waking up in the morning with her not there. He told me they'd been together for 30 years. They got married 2 years out of high school. So, anyway, so here I was set for going to Casey, Montana's. I was set for going to, after that, to Cannon's. And you know, I was so goddamn fried from Biggie's and that weird shit that went on there. Corporate fucking shit. That I didn't sleep that night. The night before, I'm telling you what, I did not frickin' sleep a bit. So, and yesterday after Robert's deal and he laid $1,000 in my hand, I thought, you know what? I'm going to drive by Casey, Montana's in Kalispell. I'm going to make an assessment to that because it hasn't been taken care of yet. And then I'm going to go do a whole bunch of shit. A ton of stuff. I had to get a padlock for Lick Lake, a combo padlock. I had to, I did a lot of stuff. I put my fertilizer spreader in the, I put the fertilizer spreader, went by the storage so I could put the fertilizer spreader in the back, with the mowers on the trailer, so I could go to Montana Wood or whatever it's called to get some dry firewood. So at the end of the day, that's what I did. But I went to the bank. I deposited $1,000. I did some shopping. I got things that I needed. And then I went, then at the end of the day, I went, I washed a pickup. Then I went to Montana Wood and got some beautiful frickin' dry wood, and if that isn't a goddamn treat. And as a matter of fact, that's what I'm going to do unless I can run into a good piece of wood. You're tired of starting a goddamn fire anyway. And it seems like in the spring, as of late, I don't have a wood shed, so my wood has a tendency of being a little wet in the spring. Nothing like fighting a goddamn fire in the spring. You're tired of building a fire anyway. So I went to that wood place and got some extremely frickin' dry wood. Unbelievably dry wood. Built the fire last night with the greatest of ease. So I got a whole pickup load of wood. It cost me $54, but boy, that was worth it. I'll be a son of a gun. No more fighting building a fire, because a lot of times it's just brief anyway. And what I want to have the practice of doing, the discipline of doing, is only using that dry stuff to get the fire going, so then I can put the less cooperative wood on there, because I do have some wood it's good, it's dry, but it's been laying on the goddamn ground. So anyway, that's the briefing of the day as we're coming up to Dickey Lake. But I did want to talk about that help, and that's why I'm so goddamn happy, is that was kind of a godsend, wasn't it? I mean, the Lord does work, and things happen for a reason. The Lord does work in mysterious ways. And you know what? For me to go to work at Biggie's and having that motherfucker, he was riding me like a rented goddamn mule. And you know what I noticed too, and I know that I said that, but it's worth saying again? That dirty prick would only ride me when there were people around. You gotta have broad enough shoulders and be, you know, have enough confidence in your freaking self to not have to do that. I'll tell you what, if I was training someone, I will guarantee you right now that I would not, if I had something I needed to tell him about the job he was doing and there were people around, I would go over and I'd say, take note of this little area here because I want to talk to you about it later. And that's all I'd say with a smile on my face. This guy was riding me like a rented fucking mule when there were, but for the swimmer, for the whatever, a woman in a bathing suit. She doesn't have to be pretty, she can be ugly, but she's in a bathing suit. So he had to let her know that he's running my goddamn life, is what he did. And then with the boss at the end of the day, he had to let that boss know that I was severely underworking my ability. I was doing terrible. Dirty prick. And then with all the paperwork, and you gotta stop, and oh God, you gotta go, and then you gotta stop, and then oh, you gotta go. It's all too scientific. You know what it is? I'll tell you what. I got the largest taste of corporation in my whole entire lifetime working for Biggie's that day. But like I said, it was crazy. The next morning, I thought, fuck, I ain't going. I ain't going in. Nope. And I signed up that, I created that text for Biggie's, sent the text off, and then I blocked them. I don't need to hear your fucking shoot back. I'm just going to fire it off, and then I'm going to fucking block you. And that's what I did. It's like, you know what? You're fucked. We're not going to fight back and forth. And then 1 hour later, Lick Lake calls. Lick Lake filled the goddamn Biggie's hole. And it's right there 2 miles from my house. Lick Lake filled the financial hole of Biggie's that I walked away from. And it's just, it's minimal. It's probably going to be a hell of a lot more. So, just crazy how things work. I'll tell you what, it's just nuts. Really fucking nuts. And it can be scary, but boy, I'll tell you what, you got to have faith. It's funny how I do have composure, I believe. I don't know. I guess you say that when you've worked yourself through a situation. And I've got other situations going on. I got a couple people, 2 people, that could be $65 a week. It's only 25 for one and 40 for the other. But you know what they've done? They've boycotted the lawn mowing till now, till it's like a wheat field, because they feel they're saving money. And this is what people do. So now, it's Shannon from Seattle. It has a single wide in Columbia Falls, and it's Bob, I think is his name, in all the way out by goddamn the lake. It's crazy. Flathead Lake. It's way the hell out there. And he's been boycotting too. They're just waiting. It's like, holy shit, if we wait till mid-season, he'll charge us $75. Think of the money we've saved. Well, you know what I do with that? Here's what I do with that. Because I've had a couple in my previous mowing experiences. They say, yeah, just hold off. Just hold on. Okay, now you can come. And they think you're going to charge them $75 to bale that hay. No. What I do is I times it. It's like, okay, here's when it should have happened 6 weeks ago. It's going to be $40 times 6. $240 is what you're going to owe me. Or I'm not doing it. And that'll make them stop. And if you want to go every month or every other month, we'll fucking times it times 4 is what we'll do, or however many months you haven't done her. So anyway, there's a little bit of politics of dance in there, but that's why, like I said before, you appreciate the dog shit out of your good customers. Even if they don't pay very well, if they're well behaved, you keep them. You keep them. You really do. You know, so it's just a point to ponder. It's like the women too, I guess, huh? But like that's not going to happen. I mean, you keep the good ones. Well, huh. No, I'm just kidding with that. It's, here we are. It's Thursday, May 9th. Have a good day.